All right, hey everyone, how you doing? This is Unique here. Super excited for this video, this keynote that I'm about to do for you. Honestly, I put so much energy and time in it, and I'm really hoping that you guys are gonna really love this. Listen, so this is it, right? Join the top 1% in tech, right? Discover the proven steps to break into top tech companies, regardless of your background, your network, and your previous experience, right? This is super exciting. Let's go straight into it. Listen, I got so much to be sharing, right? So we're gonna try to make this like a really effective 1 hour call. I'll put everything on mute, of course, right? Do not disturb. Make sure I don't get any calls during this time. So here we go. So I'll go very briefly here just so you understand a little bit about who I am. My name is Unique, right? A bit from everywhere, American. Grew up in the Washington D.C. area, part French as well. Spent a lot of time in Paris and went to French school. Growing up, and my parents are African from Togo. Been a startup executive for about in at least in the startup ecosystem for about 12 years, in multiple ecosystems actually in Washington D.C., in Silicon Valley, in Paris, and Barcelona. I work with companies from early stage startups to post IPO, with LinkedIn, and led marketing and growth teams anywhere from from 0 to 50 people on my team, from interns to senior directors, from top of funnel all the way up to upsell and retention. Been awarded 3 times top 100 product marketing influencer, by Product Marketing Alliance and a few other folks. And, I've helped, Series 9, a 79 million Series C startup in Paris to 3x ARR over the span of a couple of years, and become a $2.2 billion unicorn. I've also helped over 30 million Series A SaaS startup in Barcelona to basically 2.5x growth to hit that 10 million ARR. And it's been a really interesting ride. I've done a lot, I've learned a lot, and I'm really excited for this keynote because a bunch I can share here for you. And last but not least, Creative Top 1% Academy, right? The accelerator. Really excited about this because it's my brand new project. I'm doing it also as well in parallel to a startup that I'm going to be launching very soon. I'm raising capital for that, but that's another conversation. So I think really what I'm most proud of is really kind of the impact that I've had across, so many different places in the world. I really enjoyed it, whether it's been in boardrooms, in workshops and keynotes, one-on-one, graduation ceremonies. I've really done a lot, and I've been fortunate enough to have this background, and I've helped over 2,000, professionals really land top jobs in top companies around the world, right? Some people in HP, at LinkedIn, McKinsey, Amazon, Stripe, Pinterest, really just amazing people, great talent, right? Obviously, these people are already go-getters. All I did was just give a blueprint, right, to get to where they need to get to where they need to get to. And that's really what I'm trying to do here with you as well. So what I learned throughout my career is that really when you understand basically how to growth hack, whether it's for your career, your business, your employer, it really makes a massive difference. And so I've learned a lot of these tips, these secrets, these strategies, working in different cities around the world. And the thing that I realized is that you don't need a fancy MBA, right? You don't need a top MBA from this top business school or previous, decades of experience in tech or live in a major tech hub. There's so many ways. Really, all you need is grit, right? So you obviously have to want it. You need a crazy dream because that's what really inspires you to keep moving forward. And then you need a good mentor, right? You need someone who's there vouching for you, showing you the way, so you don't have to learn through trial and error, waste so much time and money and emotions as well. And so this is really what this conversation here is about. Right, it's 7 steps to break into top tech companies and accelerate, wherever you are from IC all the way up to VP, right? And before I start, a lot of people ask me why break into top tech companies. Well, if you're already in tech, that's kind of cool. You already understand, but it's a fast-growing market, right? It's a fast-growing industry. It's a 5.26 trillion industry in 2024. Job growth is increasing. Obviously, you still have some people that are cutting jobs and so on because of the power of AI, and that's what's happening, right? You have emerging AI technologies that's basically growing so fast. Not only is it is obviously it's taking some jobs, but it's also creating so many new jobs. It's creating new startups that we're launching all the time, and so it also gives you the opportunity to really get in there because there's so much demand for everything. Product managers, product marketing managers, marketing, sales, customer success, everything, ops, finance, right? So it's a really growing industry. So it's definitely interesting to be in there. It's home to one of the most inspiring companies in the world, right? We all know these folks, right? From the Apples to the Microsofts to the Amazons, the Googles, Meta, and Nvidia, and so many more. And we know so many that have leveraged tech to be able to really make a complete difference in their lives. Airbnb revolutionized travel and hospitality, creating affordable accommodation. You have Uber. Obviously, most of you might know Uber, and they've absolutely changed, the whole experience of getting to anywhere when you're in urban cities. Eliminated taxis. Well, it depends where you are. And they made it also possible for people to get extra money, right, from the gig economy. One thing that's really important to understand is that unicorn startups are not just in the US, they're all over the world. Right, and they're growing really fast. Now, of course, the U.S. is leading right now, right? We know that, right? The U.S. has been home to like some amazing companies, but you also have some other runners coming up, right? You got China, you got India, and then you got like a bunch of European companies they're all starting to be unicorns. 53 in the UK. You got Germany, you got France, you got a bunch of them over there. I think my face is moving. Let me put it right there. Boom, there you go. And then you also have, of course, Brazil and Singapore too. So it's growing fast, right? So big thanks to our friends at CBI Insights for this kind of information. You can go online, see the full list, not only of the startups that are already unicorn, but also the ones that are up and coming. In terms of, the startup ecosystem, I mean, you have to understand it's literally happening across every sector you can think of, right? From artificial intelligence to auto and transportation to consumer and retail, cybersecurity, data management and analytics. I mean, every single facet that you can think of, right, of your day-to-day life, whether it's business or consumer. So it's really, really, really interesting, right? You might recognize some of these logos here. And so not to mention as well the insane perks, right? We know that we have that dream life, work life in startups, right? Because you got the opportunity to have these amazing gyms, the free meals, mental health. You got so many interesting things. You got like so I just spit out really quickly. Here you go. 77% of tech companies offer fitness benefits compared to like the other industries that are under 50%. You also have like comprehensive perks, family benefits, right? So obviously the big ones like Microsoft give you over like 20 weeks of leave, but you also have others. You have Netflix that's absolutely insane, up to a year off. But you have a bunch of others that are also doing really, really amazing things and giving you, mental health services and fertility and so on, like Brex, Notion. So lots of really, really cool things out there. And of course, if you didn't know, you can move really fast from IC to VP within 5 to 10 years, right? Compared to your traditional industry where you can be between 15 to 20 years to really get there in these traditional industries. And, it's not uncommon for someone in VP product or get at that level and start making over $500K a year plus stocks and eventually start hitting those 7 figures. Why? Because, it's an industry that's growing really fast. If you look at the stock market, it's just like tech companies are growing really, really fast. So super exciting to see. And then not to mention that obviously when you're in tech, sometimes what happens that if you, play your cards well, manage your money well, and you keep growing fast, some people actually retire in their mid 40s as opposed to in the mid 60s, right? And then last one here, or the second to last, is the global mobility. About 15% of tech workers can work remotely full-time, right? Part-time or full-time, which is exciting. Unicorns like Payfit, where I worked, enable work from anywhere, which is so cool. I could work from Germany, from Barcelona. It's absolutely amazing, right? And different places in France too. And so where am I sharing all this? Well, there's a catch. It's really, really hard to get in the top ones, right? You have like 0.2%. that actually get in. So you actually have better odds of getting into Harvard, which is 3.19% acceptance rate, right? You also have a lot of market shifts because the global tech workforce has grown by 25%, right? You got more people coming in the game in the past 5 years. And then you also have, respective to that, you also have some openings that dropped, especially following COVID and things like that. So now it's kind of opening back up, but there's also a lot of global competition because especially now with remote work, what that means is that like you can be in Austin, Texas, and you're competing against someone who's in like Brazil, right? Or someone who's in Croatia, just because they're great and they're willing to, they live in maybe in cheaper cities and they're willing to get paid less, obviously, because they work in these cities and they're still as good as you, sometimes even better, it depends, right? And so you also have people who are also starting to retire a little bit later. 30% of workers are delaying retirement. So on one side, of course, you can move earlier depending on, what you're doing in tech, how well you're managing your money, how well you're growing fast and stuff. But, you also have some people who are staying longer in the game. What that means is that it's incredibly complex and complicated. So key message one here is that it's tougher than ever to land a top job in top tech companies or unicorn startups because it's like everyone wants to get in. And the global talent pool is growing a lot, as you can see. People are graduating, getting in the game. And you also have a lot of seasoned pros that are staying in the market longer. So when you look at that, we go to the next one. What we're going to do here, this is going to be action-packed. If you can't tell already, there's going to be a lot of content I'm going to be sharing with you today. So, this is really, really interesting. The first one is going to be, obviously, we just talked about it, which is the incredible growth of and potential and perks of just like the tech industries, right? It's growing fast. There's so many ways to move fast in your career, to learn skills, to, to get paid very well, and to even retire early, depending on how well you play cards. The second thing is you need to, in the second part that we're going to talk into is why you need to think like a growth hacker, right? Like I just mentioned, if you have a 0.2% chance of actually getting in the game, you have to think very differently than the rest of the population. And so we're going to talk about that right now. Then we're going to go into understanding the power of LinkedIn and in generating endless career opportunities, how I personally use it and taught others how to do it as well. Then debunking the myths holding them back. And one of the reasons why I added that in there is because I realized that sometimes even when I give people the playbook, there's still like those limitations and self-doubt and just these myths that they have in their head that's holding them back from actually getting it done. So once you have the blueprint, I realized that's not the only thing you need. You really need a mindset shift. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that in that section. And then we're going to go into the 7 steps to break into top tech company, right? This is actually the blueprint now where it's like, hey, here are the 7 steps you need to do. Now that we got all this out the way, this is it. Just take it and run. And then for the ones who obviously want to discover opportunities to work together, there's so many things that I have, whether it's courses, mentoring, so on, podcasts. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. So I'll obviously share with what's available. You can choose whatever you like. But this course already is going to give you so much information. You can already take it, and this keynote is going to give you so much information. You can already take it and run with it. So let's get into it.